Okay, we are recording. So we'll be doing the photo collage for creating a photo collage demo. A good website to check out is freepik.com. I'm going to put this in the chat if you want to check it out. And they have a lot of good templates that you can use. A lot of them are free. Some of them you do have to pay for a premium subscription. So all I did was search for photo collage template. I'm just going to change it to free, and then it'll apply that filter. And so it'll show me free templates I could use that artists have created for people to use. And so it's kind of up to you which one you want to use. I'm going to try, I like this one because it was kind of simple. So you can download it. It'll download it in a couple formats. So click free download, and then I'll start downloading to your computer. So check out freepik, PIK.com, freepik. So wherever you save your downloads, it might be in your download folder. This one's set up for my desktop. So it's just a little zip file. And then in the zip file, it'll give me a couple different formats. I'll kind of show the benefits of the different formats. So if I open, I would use, if you have Photoshop, I'm not sure if this opens in Photopea, but the EPS is a vector. And so I'm going to open this in Photoshop. And the cool thing about vectors is you can change the size. So if I want to make this like 13 by 13 inches, and I want to change it to RGB color, like my photos would be, the resolution's high, it'll basically expand the size of it to whatever size you want, which is nice. If I just open the JPEG, which you could do in any kind of format, I'm just going to open that into Photoshop. Let's go to image size. Let's go to inches just to get an idea. So let's go to 300. So the native size was 6.6 inches at 300 resolution, which is kind of like a standard resolution. So it's a decent size file, but it is going to be smaller than your photo. So if you want to make it bigger, use the EPS, and then you can size it up, and you won't lose any quality. So I'm just letting you know. But some of you maybe be using Photopea and can't open the EPS, so then just open up the JPEG, and then you just got to kind of work with that smaller size. So with this layout, what I'm going to do is grab some photos from Bridge. And so these were the ones I took from Oregon. So again, I'm just going to make duplicates of these. And then I'm going to select, just like I did for the landscape series, I'm going to select all of them and apply an edit to all of them. So I'm just going to select them and then open in Camera Raw. I could edit these one by one, but I'm just showing you the benefits of like a Lightroom or a Camera Raw where you can batch edit photos and basically sync the settings on them. And so whatever I change on one, it'll sync it to all the photos, which is nice. So I'm just going to line up the shadows a bit. And then, you know, I can play with the color temperature. I could maybe add some dehaze and clarity, maybe some vibrance and saturation. So however we edit the photos, you know, I just want to see a good, strong before and after. Maybe I want to do some vignetting. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm just going to open up those files into Photoshop. And again, if you want to save those photos, what I would recommend doing before you make your photo collage is once they open up each of those tabs on the top into Photoshop, just make sure you save the settings of the photo onto it from Camera Raw. So just go File, Save, and then Replace. I'm just going to check attendance while this is opening up. Hamza's here. Retreat or video. No, okay. So I'm just going to go back to Photoshop. Okay. So again, if you want to save these photos, so then when you upload it to your Flickr album or your Google Doc, make sure you go File, Save, and actually save those camera raw settings onto your photo. Otherwise, if you try to upload it, it's going to look like the original. It's not going to show those camera raw settings. So you could call it copy v2, make sure it's in the right folder, make sure it's a JPEG format, hit save. I'm going to replace it and basically save those settings onto it. So now it's actually saved. So again, how to tell is in Bridge, you can see this one doesn't have these little camera raw settings on the upper right corner. This one I saved the settings onto it. This one is just previewing the settings, but it's not actually saved onto it. If I were to upload this, it wouldn't show those changes. It would look like the original because it's just previewing those settings. It's not actually saved onto it. All right, so I'm just gonna kind of have a small screen here on the laptop. So I'm just going to close out some of these just so I only have a couple tabs open on the top. Okay, so here's my layout. So what I want to do is basically move photos onto the layout. So I'm just going to click on a photo. I'm going to drag it off to the side. And then using the move tool, again, if you're not sure which tool is which, just hover over the tool. And then it should give a little preview of which tool is which. So I'm just going to click and hold the click and then inside the photo and then drag and drop it onto my layout. So you can see now on my layout, if I close this layer, here's my layout, and there's my layer on top of it. So obviously this photo is really big because it's from a bigger camera. So what I'm going to do is use that edit free transform like it did for the mixed media, and I'm going to size this thing down. So I'm just going to drag it down to a size that's like close to one of these shapes. So I'm actually going to make this a little bigger to kind of fit in that box. There we go. And then you can either double click or hit the check, and that'll basically commit the free transform. So what I want to do is basically make it attached to that shape that's underneath it. So it kind of fits in this box shape. So what I'm going to do is click on that layer, and I'm going to use the quick selection tool, and I'm going to select the box shape. And so because it's got these nice hard lines, it should find the shape pretty easy. And so what I'm going to do is go to, I think this works with layer, duplicate layer. I know it works with the Command J. I'm just going to check. No, that didn't work. Okay. So this will work in Photo P2. What you're going to press is Command or Control J. And then basically what it'll do, I selected it, and it made just a copy of my selection. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach this photo. So I'm going to click on this layer. And then I'm going to hold down Alt or Option. And if I go in between, I get this little kind of box with the arrow down where I can attach it. So if I go Alt-click, in between, it'll attach it to that layer. So as you can see here, I created a clipping mask. So this is before I did it and then after. So I'll just show you that again. If I hold Alt or Option and I go in between those two layers and click, it'll create a clipping mask and basically adjust it to that shape that I selected. So I can still move my layer. So just make sure you're on the layer of your photo, and I can still move it in that space, you know, if I want to kind of move it around, but it is clipped to that shape, which is nice. And so then what I would do is just go back to my first layer, do a selection of maybe this shape, right? Press Control or Command J on a Mac, Control J on a PC. And let's do a copy of that. I'm just going to drag it above my layer so it's on the top. And let's move over another photo. Let's do this one. So I'm going to use my Move tool, snap it off. I'm going to hold, click and hold, and drag and drop it over. And then there's my layer. So I'm just going to free transform it down, edit, free transform, right? And then I can size it down. You know, maybe I want this one a little bigger because I want it closer on that kind of sunburst. So then I'm just going to, again, attach it, my layer 5, which is my photo, to the layer 4, which is that shape I selected and copied. So I'm going to press Alt or Option and Alt-click in between to create that clipping mask. And you can see here, it made that mask. So maybe I can center it the way I want. That looks good. So then I would just kind of go through the process of selecting each of these sections, dragging over photos, and then dropping them in. So there's lots of cool templates, to check out at freepik.com. Another way of approaching this is you could just open and create a new document. Just like in Photopea, I would go File, New. And then I could do a custom size. I can call it, Photo Collage 1 or 2. I can change the size, 13 by 19 at 300 resolution, RGB color. I can change the background color, white, black, or transparent. And then hit create. And then what you can do is something called guides. And so you can literally, if you have the ruler showing, so if you go to window and then go to, where's it at? If you press Control R or Command R, it shows it. Oh, rulers is under view, sorry. Command R to show you rulers. So I'm gonna go view, rulers. And when you click inside the ruler, I'm just gonna click and then drag down a guide. And so I can literally create my own kind of layout if I wanted to. Right? And if you have the snap selected, I'm just going to remove that last guide. If you go towards like the middle of something, it'll start sticking to the middle. So then you know it's in the center of your frame. So that's kind of helpful when you're making, guides like that. If you want it perfectly centered. And then, I could just basically, drag over those photos the same way. And I can select the sections and then drag them over on like a blank document. So it's kind of
Bartelos,
yep.
Is it possible to rotate those guidelines or no?
Like to pivot them. I think you would have to do like a polyagonal, or like you'd have to create a shape here. I think it would be this polyagonal. So this one kind of works like if you click and hold it. Let's say I want to make like a triangle shape. And then let's do edit and stroke would basically create an outside border. Let's do 1 pixel. You can make it a black stroke. Hit OK. Hit OK. And then I'm just going to deselect. And so I can see here I made like, I'd maybe make the line a little thicker, but you could, select this shape. Let's do that. There we go. Hold on. Let's take this off. So yeah, I'd maybe make the stroke a little thicker, like 5 pixels or something, just because it's a big file. This quick selection is not working. Let's just go back to reselect. And then maybe let's actually just fill it in with black. Let's do black. Right, and then it should be able to select this color easier. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, maybe just create a shape and fill it in with the color. And so then if I press Command J, there's just my shape, and then I would just attach a photo just to that shape. So you could do, kind of custom shapes if you wanted to using this polyagonal tool. Or you could do like free drawing ones too, where you go back to your background layer and just do like a, whatever abstract shape you want. And then just go edit, fill, or stroke, fill it in with black. So you could do something like that. And then just select that shape. Press Command J, and then I'll copy that shape onto its own layer. So good question, thanks. All right, I'm just gonna stop the recording. Thanks for paying attention on that. So I'll upload that.